Hi guys, Kat here. Welcome back to my channel, Catadactyl. Today I am doing one of the first parts of my USA haul. So a few weeks ago I went to the US for about 3.5 weeks. So when I got home, my parents told me that they wanted me to clean out my room because they might be selling the house in the next few years. So I actually ended up having over 120 books to give to a used store. And then I got store credit for some used books. So I'm just going to talk about the ones that I got. I didn't get them new, so a lot of them are in like condition, but I don't really care about that. It's not really a huge deal to me. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So the two that I got, Kushiel's Dart by Jacqueline, Carey. And then I believe this is a sequel or the next one. I don't know how many are in it, but this is Kushiel's Chosen, which is the follow-up. These are actually pretty massive books. The first one is just under 900 pages, but the place where I heard about these is at a writing workshop I did in Melbourne with Pacat, and a few people there had said like the world building in this is amazing. I am gonna read you the back of this because it sounds amazing. Okay, so the land of Terre d'Ange is a place of unsurpassing beauty and grace. It is said that angels found the land and saw it was good, and the ensuing race that rose from the seed of angels and men lived by one simple rule: love as thou wilt. Phaedra is a young woman who was born with a scarlet mote in her left eye. Sold into indentured servitude as a child, her bond is purchased by Anafiel, a nobleman with a very special mission, and the first one to recognize who and what she is, one pricked by Kushiel's dart, chosen to forever experience pain and pleasure as one. Phaedra is trained equally in the courtly arts and the talents of the bedchamber, but above all, the ability to observe, remember, and analyze, almost as talented a spy as she is a courtesan. So I'm really excited to read this. And also, luckily, when I fall in love with it, I will also have the sequel. So, have any of you guys read Kushiel's Dart? Was it really, really good? I've heard great things about it. I'm just a little intimidated by the size. Like I said, it's shy of 900 pages. But it sounds really, really good. And actually, looking at it, the words are pretty big. So, it might be an amazing read, and I'm really looking forward to it because Master Slave done well, like I've said, is just one of my hugest boxes for reading. So, yeah. Okay, so I also picked up The Day of the Triffids by John Wyndham. The Chrysalids is on my September TBR, and this was actually just in the bathroom of the used bookstore, so it has like a lot of damage on it, and it used to be a library book, so it's one of those like hardcovers that's been laminated. But despite the really terrible packaging, I hope that it will be an amazing book. So it says, until a few short hours ago, before the sky exploded into a shower of flaming green hell, Triffids had been regarded as merely a curious and profitable form of plant life. Now these shadowy vegetable creatures became a crawling, killing nightmare of pain and horror. So I feel like it's going to be really interesting. I think it's going to be kind of sci-fi horror. I hope it's not too campy, but also just like look at that cover. I just now realized that that is a hand being consumed by the undergrowth. Take from that what you will. So another book that I happened to find in the bathroom, and which will cost me like $3, was I, Robot by Asimov. So I have been meaning to read I, Robot for a really, really long time. I think ever since I saw the movie, and then when people told me, oh, don't judge the book by the movie because the book is so much better and not at all like the movie. So I'm really curious how the book is like. It's quite a small book, so I think it would be a really good book to take to school. Another book that I picked up, I stumbled upon when I was just looking in Jack London. I thought I had read everything by Jack London, but I was surprisingly wrong, and thank goodness I was, because isn't it just really sad when you've read out an author you love, like they can't produce anymore, and you're like, no, I wish there was more. Yeah, that's how I felt. I was so happy to find this. So it's Before Adam by Jack London. So it says, tormented by a succession of terrifying dreams, A young American boy is faced with the strange truth that his consciousness has become intertwined with that of Big Tooth, his mid-Pleistocene ancestor. Through these dream memories, he relives Big Tooth's life, a life as one of the folk race, without developed language, social structure, or fire. So I just thought that sounded so interesting. I have never read a book like that before. I think the closest a book has come is, maybe it was called Eva, where a little girl gets in an accident and they transplant her brain into a monkey's body, which was just like a very horrifying book for me to read at the age that I read it. I don't know who was screening my reading material at that time, but that was a huge mistake. I had nightmares for months that I would get in an accident and then be a monkey. But yeah, so I'm hoping that this is better than that, and I'm really looking forward to it. I love me some Jacqueline. Okay, so the next book I picked up was a book that has been on my list for like a really long time, and it is The Tiger's Wife by T. Obreht. She won like the best books for 30 under 30, like where it was a list of 30 amazing books written by people under 30. And so it says, in a Balkan country mending from war, Natalia, a young doctor, is compelled to unravel the mysterious circumstances surrounding her beloved grandfather's recent death. Searching for clues, she turns to his worn copy of The Jungle Book and the stories he told her of his encounters over the years with the Deathless Man. But most extraordinary of all is the story of her grandfather never told her, the legend of the Tiger's Wife. So I don't know, it just seems really like mystical and magical, and I can't think that I've read of a book set in a Balkan country, so I am really looking forward to it, and I'm curious to see how someone under 30 has developed such amazing writing skills. And I believe this is her first book, and so yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. If you guys have read this, let me know. It's a New York Times bestseller, so I think it was really popular, yeah, in about 2011, so I'm only about 6 years, I'm 6 years slow here. But yeah. And next is a book that I've seen like a lot of places. It's The Snow Child, which is another national bestseller by Eowyn Ivey. It deals with a couple who is childless in Alaska, and they start to drift apart, and they wonder if, it's a sign that they can't have children, until one day they see a girl in the woods, and they also see a fox flitting in the woods. And things go from there. I heard that it's pretty bewitching and magical, and it will really like tug at your heart, but I also heard that it is quite brutal. So I think when I'm looking for a good cry, I might go ahead and pick this one up. Next is Euphoria, which was a New York Times 10 Best Books of the Year for 2014, and the Kirkus Prize winner. And honestly, the reason I first knew about this book was for the amazing cover, which can we just appreciate it. It follows 3 young gifted anthropologists in the 1930s as they're caught up in a love triangle. Okay, so first, I hate love triangles. I really do. Which is why I haven't picked this book up for so long, because I really hate love triangles. Like, the amount of times that love triangles are done well enough for me to enjoy them is quite rare. So I didn't want to, but then it was in the used bookstore, and it's like such a nice copy, and it feels so nice. It's like the skin paper, and the cover's pretty, and it has like the shiny things, and it's also anthropology, which I'm interested in. Like, all the signs were telling me to give it a go. So I'm either expecting to like it despite the love triangle, or I will avidly hate this book so much that I will probably be really bitter about it forever. Please let me know what you think of the love triangle in here. If you think it is just a fiery ball of no, then please tell me that so that I can avoid reading this book. So the second to last book I have is Ruby by Cynthia Bond. So this book was picked for Oprah's book club, and I know that it is a really important book for dealing with racial tensions and racial fallout, and it says, Ephraim Jennings has never forgotten the beautiful girl with long braids running through the red dust and piney woods of Liberty, their small East Texas town. For Ruby Bell, Liberty was a place of devastating violence from which she fled to seedy, glamorous 1950s New York. Years later, pulled back home, 30-year-old Ruby is faced with the seething hatred of a town desperate to destroy her. Witnessing her struggle, Ephraim must choose between loyalty to the sister who raised him and the chance for a life with the woman he has loved since he was a boy. Utterly transfixing, Ruby is a soaring novel of passion and courage. I think this book will be really powerful, and I am really looking forward to it. I haven't read any race relation books recently, and that is something I need to rectify immediately. So if you have read this, let me know what you thought. And moving on to the last book. So the last book was a total title buy. I don't know how you could not buy this book. It is The Girl with a Clock for a Heart by Peter Swanson. I got to the register and I just decided to pick it up just from that alone. You know, every once in a while you just kind of have to randomly get a book, because otherwise sometimes you won't find gems that are just laying around, sprinkled around. So it says, George Foss has passed the age when he thinks he might fall madly in love or have anything truly remarkable happen to him. He spends evenings at his local tavern talking about the Red Sox and obsessing over a lost love from his college days who vanished 20 years earlier, until she reappears. George has both dreamed of and dreaded seeing her again. She's an enigma and quite possibly someone who was involved in a murder years ago, but she's back and needs his help. She says that some men are after her and that they believe she's stolen their money, and now they will do whatever it takes to get it back. He can't say no. He never could. I'm really hoping that this book is kind of better than the blurb, because from the blurb it sounds like man, new manic pixie dream girl, man loses manic pixie dream girl, manic pixie dream girl comes back as a hot older mess and he has to sort it out and chaos ensues. So I'm really hoping that's not the case, but that's kind of the vibes I got from the blurb. Yeah, so wish me luck on that one. But that wraps up my used book haul, and I think I did pretty well. There's like wide smattering of genres and lengths and female writers and male writers, so yeah, I'm feeling pretty pleased with it, and I can't wait to dive into some of them. I have been dying to haul these books so that I can put them on my TBRs, because I feel weird always putting books in TBRs that I haven't hauled yet, because I feel like I haven't properly introduced them to you guys. Like, they haven't had an introduction in polite book society, as it were. Is that a thing? It's not a thing. But anyway, I'm going to end it here. Yeah, so now you've been introduced to my lovely new books, and I hope that we all get along. And yeah, without further ado, happy reading! Bye!